Something very interesting is happening right now on TikTok, on social media. You should pay close attention, not just because of what it reveals about the global economy, because of what it reveals about the psychological, the cultural, and the civilizational fraud that's at the core of Western society, Western civilization, the Western world. You've got Trump's new tariffs against Chinese goods, and now Chinese manufacturers are doing something about that that's unprecedented. They're going on social media and they're saying, we're the ones who make your luxury goods. We make your handbags, we make your shoes, we make your designer sunglasses, and so on. If you think that they come from Milan or from Paris, no, they come from China. And they're not just revealing that they're the ones who are manufacturing these goods, they're revealing the costs. They're revealing the margins, the markup. They're saying this handbag that sells for $2,000 in the West, well, it only costs $40 to make, and we'll make it, and we'll sell it to you directly. Now pause and reflect about that, on the depth of what that means. This is more than just a business revelation. This is a civilizational unmasking. They're exposing that the West actually produces nothing, but they take credit for everything, just like with colonization. The Western world has built its global prestige and its reputation on the central myth that it's the home of excellence, and that this excellence is a byproduct of their unequaled freedom. That Western societies are the pinnacle of quality, of craftsmanship, of innovation and refinement and so on. And all of this because they have so much liberty and so much freedom. So creativity and excellence thrive, right? Brilliance and hard work. All of that flourishes in the great sunlight of Western democracy. Meanwhile, actual excellence is outsourced. The only thing that you do is slap your label on what others make. You slap your logo on things that are made by the people who you demonize, who you disrespect, who you denigrate, who you look down upon, who you call peasants. Everything about your success is actually made possible by people who you call losers. The only thing that the West excels at is branding, taking credit. Your whole economy is a scam, a logo, a stamp, a label, and then they inflate the price 1,000-fold. That's what you make. You make logos. It's not a system of productivity. It's a system of appropriation. It's an economy of logos. It takes what others produce, stamp their name on it, and then sell it back to the world at an obscene profit. That's not excellence. That's fraud. And no one should be surprised by this, because this is a pattern that repeats throughout your so-called society, your so-called civilization. From Elvis Presley singing Hound Dog to the crown jewels of the British monarchy stolen from India. You're that dumb jock who puts his name on a test that he paid someone else to take for him. That's America. And you're literally charging people for nothing. It's like how you buy a $5 coffee that's 80% foam. Well, now the Chinese manufacturers are going online and they're telling you that you're only getting a thimble of coffee, a thimble of espresso, and 2 tablespoons of milk, and it should only actually cost you less than $1. That's the equivalent of what they're doing. You're literally paying for the privilege of drinking from a cup with a logo on it. So how fake is that? I mean, imagine being some rich idiot who's spending all of this money on a handbag, and you thought that your wealth was buying you some sort of exclusivity, who thought that, this branded handbag or that branded handbag was actually made from a higher quality leather than a suburban soccer mom could afford, only to find out that even the highest quality of cowhide is actually still accessible to the janitor of their Manhattan apartment building. Well, what are they going to do now to try to be exclusive, to try to be fancy? Get handbags made out of giraffe skin, some endangered species? See, they're even scamming the wealthy. It's a surrealist economy. They make you poorer than you should be, and then they charge you for things far more than their actual cost. It's just like financialization. The same way that that's fake money, it's fake luxury. It's all created by spin. Your coffee is all foam. Now, theoretically, with these Chinese manufacturers, what they're doing should open up all sorts of opportunities for people in the West. Because now you can buy directly from these factories. All the factories that make these products. You could buy wholesale. You could buy bulk. You could create your own supply chains. You could even route them through other factories, say in Indonesia or in Malaysia or wherever else. And then have those factories slap your own logos or your own tags on them, saying that they were made in that country to bypass the tariffs, and boom, you have your own business. You can even make your own designs with identical materials, with the identical quality standards of all those luxury brand companies. But I know that the only people who are going to even do that most likely in the U.S. are going to be immigrants, because Americans themselves are not actually anymore an enterprising people, if they ever were. You don't actually come from a culture that has initiative. You know, I even saw one American on social media whose response to the videos being made by the Chinese manufacturers was, "Oh yeah, I'd love to get a Birkin bag at an affordable price. So if you're one of those factories that make the Birkin bags, well, DM me and I'll buy it." See? This is the thinking. You contact me and I'll pay for it. I'm willing to consume at a lower price. There's no initiative here. As if that factory is going to just jump at the chance to DM some random guy looking for a bargain. This is the thinking level. And imagine still wanting to have a Birkin bag after finding out that they're not actually prestigious or luxurious at all. But your mind is still so programmed. Your mind is still so indoctrinated to think that that it's more valuable than it is, even after you just found out that it's not. So you still think that you're getting some kind of a bargain, rather than understanding that the Chinese price is actually just what the price should be. You understand? No, I don't think American consumers can make the adjustment from consumption to entrepreneurship, because they can't even break free from the brainwashing, the marketing, you know? You're still having people wanting to buy products that they associate with wealth, even after learning that they're not genuinely expensive. I mean, how do you imagine that walking around with these items, you know, a Birkin bag or what have you, how is walking around with these items now going to be even prestigious anymore? I mean, think this through. How does this actually not destroy the whole luxury brand business model completely? Like I said, how are those companies ever going to be able to convince people to pay those massive markups now? I mean, how are those companies not actually even going to face legal problems, to be honest? You know, claiming that their products come from France or come from Italy or what have you, when they're actually made in China, and we see that they're made in China, and they're only labeled in Europe. I mean, you could actually face some sort of a class action lawsuit for fraud. You know, people who fell for it, people who spent thousands of dollars because they thought that they were buying something special from some, you know, high-class European craftsmen that don't exist. Turns out European excellence is Chinese. Italian leather comes from Africa. It's all a giant scam. It's like plagiarism, but with goods. Passing off someone else's work as your own. That's what plagiarism is. You know, they call it counterfeit when you sell that same item without the logo on it. But actually, putting the logo on it is the real fakery. And I mean, consider the fact, looking at global economics, consider the fact that most of the brands that are being exposed by these Chinese manufacturers are European luxury brands. You know, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Versace, Chanel. All of these companies contribute tens of billions of dollars to their economies, to the economies of the countries that they're associated with. They're responsible for thousands of jobs, if not tens of thousands. Tourists, too. People actually travel over there to get those things. Yanking the curtain back on the fraud of these companies will potentially be a serious blow to European economies. No joke. It's all part of the destabilization of Europe. Not to mention, like I said, that they could even face some sort of investigations and lawsuits for lying about where their products are actually made. Like I said, even your rich people are getting scammed. You know, you can't even produce anything that's fancy enough to actually deserve an exorbitant price. I mean, at least in Dubai, they sell stupid gold-plated iPhones, diamond-encrusted iPhones. At least with that, you know that your decadent, obscene spending is actually getting you something that's genuinely worth the money. But these luxury bags, these clothes, these designer clothes and shoes and what have you, well, their prestige and their value is purely based on perception. It's based on branding.